Yeah, the other time that he uses it is in Isaiah 53, 1 and 2, his report. The report and how everybody didn't didn't respect the Lord when he came, didn't value him. So Isaiah 53, 1 and 2, and also Isaiah 53, 5 and 6, both of which are about the Lord himself versus our reaction to him, are 56 syllables in length. And this is our first 56. It's not the only one. This is our first 56 in Psalm 90. Okay? And just maybe I should do that. In Psalm 90, here's the translation of it. You'll see verse 9 right here. So here's verse 9 and 10, so you can see what the content is about. I can't show you the Isaiah and this at the same time, so you have to look up the Isaiah separately. Alright, so that's 9 and 10, which is 56 syllables in the Hebrew right here. Okay, now, there's another place where, and so Isaiah uses that, like I said, twice, and he's keying off also right here at the end. Isaiah 53, 1 and 2 is 56 syllables, 53, 5 and 6 is 56 syllables, and this is another place where 56 syllables is used in Psalm 90, which is in Psalm 90, 16 and 17, and let me pull this up so you can see that. Just look in the last two gold rows, and here's 16 and 17 in English. May your deeds be shown to your servants. So, it's sort of a toss-up whether, the content, given the content, Isaiah 53, 1 and 2 and Isaiah 53, 5 and 6 are in fact contrasting his coming and his being with us on earth and our attitudes toward him. Well, that very clearly ties right here to verses 16 and 17. May your deeds be shown to your servants and the favor of the Lord, establishing the work of our hands. And the word established there is kun in Hebrew, and it's a lot more than establish. It means vindicate. It means vindicate by victory, to triumph over something or someone and vindicate yourself and become established as a result. So 16 and 17 in the Psalm are pretty obviously answered by Isaiah and Isaiah 53, 1 and 2 and Isaiah 53, 5 and 6. It's not as immediately apparent why 9 and 10 are answered, except that when you stop to think about the content of what Isaiah is saying in those verses, you realize, oh, yeah, it's talking about how we don't value him. Okay, but we're gone in 5 minutes. 70 years, whoopee. We're gone. Alright? Now that word 70 years is really interesting, because look at this next thing that Isaiah does. Isaiah 53, 9, 10, and 11 are 70 syllables. So it's not by coincidence, okay, that it's talking about 70 years. Alright, let me pull that up a little better so you can see it. Alright, just below the Bible Works window, you're seeing 3 gold rows. 21 syllables, 35 syllables, and 14 syllables. Alright? That's this verse, and this verse. Alright, that's 70. Now what Isaiah does, and I'm certain that's why he's doing it. You'll notice that we just saw how verse 9 and 10 are 56 syllables. I just explained that. If you couple it with verse 11, you got 70 syllables. So what does Isaiah do? He takes the embedded 56 and the embedded 70 and he splits them. So he splits the 70 into 2 groups of 35 syllables, which are about atonement in Isaiah 52, 15, and also 35 syllables is Isaiah 53:10, which is the contract for atonement. Now look at the content of these 3 psalm verses. Our days pass away, we're gone. Who knows the power of your anger? Yeah, and our anger was all poured out on him who atoned for us. You get that, Ty? I mean, this is divine genius, okay? And then having split the 70, which is, all encompassed here, see? This is 70 syllables, but we just saw the 56 right here. So Isaiah splits the 56 into two 28s. And he splits them in Isaiah 53:9, which talks about the Lord's death. Is that apropos or what? Look at this. Isaiah 53:9 is on the Lord's death. All right? And so it's answering Psalm 99 and 10 and 11. Well, 10 actually. Okay? Isaiah 53:9 is 28 syllables, so it's a split of the 56. And then Isaiah 53:11, which is about his payment on the cross and how he makes us righteous, that's also split into 28 syllables. Okay? So he's taking the split from the 56 syllables here, and it's on the same topic. And then, like I just finished saying, he takes the 70 syllables here and he splits them into two 35s in Isaiah 52:15 and Isaiah 53:10. And it's on atonement. I mean, only divine genius is this smart. Okay? I mean, first of all, Isaiah is starting his writing as a calendar from the year he writes to the end of Messiah. So his syllabification is going to end up being 462. And I'll explain that. Well, that is explained in the Isaiah 53 videos. So he's doing the same thing as Moses, but he's also keying off the syllabification in Moses, and he's also keying off the content to answer it by means of the content of Isaiah 53. Okay, so let's keep going with what that is. All right? So our next, we've covered 56, we've covered the split in the 35s, the split in the 28s. Here's our next 70. Okay, this is 70 syllables also. This is a second 70. It is not embedded with the 56, as you can see. All right, and that's Psalm 90:12 through 90:15. 90:15 being the most important of the verses. Okay, 90:12, teach us to number our days. Yeah, well, that's what Moses is doing, is numbering the days to 350 years right here, honey. See, it's witty, huh? Okay, let's go back to the content now. Teach us to number our days, blah, da, 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 all the way down to here. Okay? And as you can see below the translation, Psalm 90:12 through Psalm 90:15, which is the theme of the psalm actually, is 70 syllables long. Okay, now think about what 70 is. 70 had to do with sabbatical years. 70 had to do with the number of years that Israel was in trouble because she didn't obey her sabbatical years. That was the hiatus for the temple rebuilding. Okay, and what Christians don't know, because it's, you have to play with this and do the math, the Bible's math, to see it, is that God's constructed time in 490 plus 70 plus 490 year increments to sum up to a 1050, all right, which is the 1,000-year millennium plus a 50-year voting period, even as that 70 years was a voting period. Israel had to vote not to work during the sabbatical years. There ended up being 70 of them. If you do your math, you find out that 70 years buys the 50 for a voting period for the world. And I covered that in my 10 ways this timeline differs doc, which will be in the sidebar. Now, 70, therefore, is a really important number. This is the second time that Moses has used a 70, and if you look in Isaiah 53, 3 and 4, Isaiah 53, 3 and 4, and Isaiah 53, 7 and 8, both of those sections use 70 syllables each, twice, because Moses is doing a 70 twice. We just saw the 70 up here in Psalm 90 verses 9 through 11, and then the second 70 we're talking about now in verses 12 through 15. So Isaiah is talking back to the 270s by making 270 syllable paragraphs in Isaiah 53. Now when you look at the content, and I'm going to have to ask you to do that because it's phenomenal, you won't believe me till you see it yourself. If you look at the content in Isaiah 53 verses 3 through 4, which is 70 syllables, and verses 7 through 8, which is also 70 syllables, you'll notice that how God answers with his unfailing love by giving his son, that we may sing for joy and be glad all our days. Yeah, but we weren't singing when he came here. So make us glad for as many days as you have afflicted us. We were afflicted, he was afflicted. So we'll be glad forever, not just for as many days as you have afflicted us. He was afflicted forever. He was afflicted on the cross, but he didn't die. He was resurrected. So he has that memory of his affliction in front of him all the time. So that means that every day we can be glad, because every day he's afflicted. I don't want to say more than that. Just play with it. Play with Isaiah 53, 3 and 4, and Isaiah 53, 7 and 8 in the context of Psalm 90, 20 through 15. And also in the context of Psalm 90 verses 9 through 11.